When you come to Carrabba's Italian Grill on a Monday, you're going to say,
"Wow, a 3-course meal for only $12.99?
On Amore Monday, get Carrabba's delicious made-from-scratch entrees, including super salad and your choice of an appetizer or dessert.
That's a huge meal for only $12.99. Wow.
Choose Carrabba's homemade lasagna, prosciutto wrapped pork tenderloin, or linguine positano with chicken, plus 2 other courses.
Wow, now I love Mondays.
Come to Carrabba's this Amore Monday for a delicious 3-course meal starting at only $12.99.
Carrabba's. Wow.
Blog Talk Radio.
It's all about the game.
And we are back. Welcome to BFF Sports. I'm your host, Dre, and I got my homies here, the squad here, Mad Mike and Phil. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
No, we good. Not much. Yeah, we here, man. You know, another Sunday, another great sports week in the books. Which one start? I know Mike suggest we start with the NBA, and the injury bug is making its rounds around the league. So I know Steph Curry's got an MCL injury. You know, that could be big depending on the severity of it. I know Klay Thompson's banged up, Kevin Durant's banged up, Draymond Green's banged up. So it's looking rough, man. It's looking rough on the Warriors right now, man.
Is it really though?
Man, I don't think. I think this is all an act, man. These guys they've been going hard for 3-4 years now. It's just a way for these guys to get some rest. I mean, we saw Draymond Green. You know, we got flu symptoms or something like that, and you have Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson. All these guys went down back to back to back, and the only one that I think that may be legitimate is Steph Curry, but we will see, you know. But being that, you know, Steph Curry, him being hurt possibly with that MCL strain, it's a grade 2 MCL strain, it could possibly really change the dynamics of the playoffs because, you know, Houston, if I'm not mistaken, I think these guys are still the number one. I think they may have taken away from Golden State, but I think
they're about 4 games up.
Okay, yeah. So change the dynamics of the playoffs. Man, I think they could win without Steph, but they can't win. I don't think they could. If they can find a way to get past Houston or, you know, I think they can, you know, get past Oklahoma, but I think they have problems if it came down to Houston and Golden State in the Western Conference Finals without Steph. Mm-hmm. With Steph, it's a wrap. I mean, with Steph, it's a wrap, but as far as them making it, you know, out of the West without Steph, I don't see that happening, man. Even with Kevin Durant, so Stephen Curry is one of those guys you just cannot duplicate, and you can't underestimate the importance and how he is that Golden State offense. Even with a Kevin Durant, the spacing that he allows, the room that he allows for Draymond Green. You know, Klay Thompson is one of the best shooters in the history of the game. He allows these guys to have wide open shots with him being on the court. So when you take Steph out of the picture, they're a much more easier team to defend without him. So that is, you know, it could easily be in Houston without Stephen Curry. What you guys think about that, man?
No, go ahead, Phil. I know you're been watching, and you know, he said something about the Spurs. We're gonna talk about them in a minute because they got their own dilemma going on. But what you think about the state of Golden State? You think they're just playing just to get Houston's confidence up, or is it like really legitimate? Should it
I
be
don't
concerning
think
Golden State?
I don't think it's to get Houston's confidence up. I think some of them are legit, maybe a little banged up, just needing a little bit of rest. I don't think it's something to be concerned about. The only person that I have concerns with is Steph Curry. That's an MCL sprain. That can go either way. That can you be playing the next game or possibly out the next 8 games. So it's very tricky when it comes to that injury. I think his is legit. I don't think everybody else is as banged up as they say. I think this is a tactic to get rest. This is a tactic to get rest. And with that, if this is serious with Steph Curry and he can't go the way he would like, this is going to open the gateway for Houston to claim the West this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're the same team without Steph. They're good without him. Don't get me wrong. They're good without him. But they're not great. He makes them great. He makes them legit. He makes them that contender that we've seen for years and years, year in and year out. He is the one that makes it tick. So if he's out, and that's the ball handler. That's
the ball handler, right?
Yeah,
right.
He's one of their primary ball handlers. So if he is out, that will suck. That will suck for them.
Draymond can kind of come in and handle the ball, but Steph is the primary ball.
Do you trust Draymond to handle the ball in an NBA Finals when things are going to be a little tougher? It's not going to be as easy as you thought it would be. You got to look at those things. You got to look at what we're saying here. It's crazy because one person being injured right now, we're talking about, has basically tipped the balance in the NBA right now, and that's because he's injured. And I just don't know. I'm not quite certain that they can maintain what they're trying to do without Steph. Like I said, Kevin Durant's a hell of a player. He can take over the squad. He can do some things, but I am not sold that him alone and the rest of these guys can make it over the hump. I'm just not certain. I think they can get to the Western Conference Finals without Steph.
Right.
I think they can get there. But I don't think they'll get to the finals without Steph. And even if they do get to the finals, I don't think they win the finals without Steph. So it's a little tricky. It's a little hard right there. But right now, this is the Rockets' time. If he is out for an extended period of time, this is the Rockets' time right now, and they need to capitalize.
Yeah, Chris Paul can finally get to his first Western Conference Finals in his career.
That's
so
great.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Well,
I'm with you. Yeah, exactly.
He was going to get to the Western Conference Finals probably.
Especially with the whole choke job he did in L.A. against the Rockets when they was up 28 with the 3-1 series lead. They're up 28 in Game 5. It just basically melt down that whole series, just melted down. You basically in L.A., you got the Rockets on the road, so all you do is just win this one game. You're up by 27, 28, and you let Houston come back, win that game, and ultimately take the series. So, I'm with you guys, And there's another guy we haven't talked about. I mean, you say about ball handling like Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. What about Klay? I mean, he can shoot the lights out. He can handle the ball. What about him?
That's another thing, and I said Steph is without a doubt the greatest shooter of all time, but you got to give Klay Thompson. That boy's a baller, man, and he plays. His defense is just. He is one of the best defenders in the league, and without him, they can't be beat. They can be beat, without Klay. But they need Klay for defensive purposes. Because they kind of put Clay on Kyrie Irving, in the playoffs, and he did a pretty good job against him, So without Clay, his shooting, and he didn't shoot the ball well. He really didn't shoot the ball well the entire series. But his defense kept him, in the lineup, kept him going, and but without Klay Thompson, without Steph
Curry,
I cannot see them beating Houston without either one of those guys. It's just not going to happen unless Chris Paul does Chris Paul things and blow 20-point leads and crap. I really don't see Golden State winning unless we may just be underestimating the greatness of Kevin Durant. Now, this boy is a baller. It's nothing impossible. But he needs a guard. And I don't know if Draymond can completely handle the offense on his own. It is possible, but Steph is that dude. And I don't think people realize how great this guy really is until he really hangs it up. Because everybody gives James Harden, so much credit. They give him Westbrook so much credit, but Steph, this guy's a league of his own, man. He can do things with the ball. He can do things. He can shoot the ball. He can play defense. This guy's one of the top guys in steal department every year. He gets, he doesn't get a lot of credit, but again, man, I do not think that Golden State can win the West without either Steph or Clay.
Right. That's what I said. I said Klay Thompson's probably one of the top three. I put him behind Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler is one of the best two-way players in the NBA, like can play both offense and defense. So I agree with you there. And considering the fact that, with, Kevin Durant as well, because like I told plenty of people, and I told, you heard me say it before, Kevin Durant's the reason why Golden State dominated Cleveland that last final.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when he got back, because like I said, in the back of his mind, he was thinking about 2012 when, it was him, Harden, and Westbrook. They went to the finals. They lost to LeBron James and the Heat. So Kevin Durant, once he got back to the stage, you just saw him just blossom into this mega super. Like he was a superstar already, but you see him blossom into this elite, like just shot up the charts. Like I put him behind LeBron James as far as like the best two in the league right now. No disrespect to Stephen Curry, and Stephen Curry is right up there as well. But Kevin Durant and LeBron James are pretty much 1A and 1B right now as far as the best players in the league. And to see how he just took over the finals that year, I was just like, this dude's growing up right before our eyes. Like, he came from that, back in the day where people would call him Mr. Unreliable because he couldn't deliver his team in the clutch, especially after that choke job they did against Golden State, being up 3-1, and they just basically choked the game away. It was building inside of him that, because I said, once he gets to these finals, he's going to show out. And that man showed the hell out like that. When I tell you, that cold-blooded three he shot over LeBron, I was just like, that dude is straight savage for that one. Like, he wouldn't even go. I saw Steph in the corner had his hand up, and he put his hand down because he knew as soon as Kevin Durant got that ball, he was going to come down and shoot it. Steph put his hand down because he knew it. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Cold as ice, man. Like as soon as I saw that, I was like, this man is coming to win. He's coming to win. So I think that if he gets in that situation again, I think he'll rise to the occasion. But like you guys said, they're a whole different team without Steph and Klay in the backcourt.
Exactly. And as I said, we saw right before our very eyes of how Kevin Durant carried that team to a championship. And you can argue, you can say, oh, well, they won before him. They didn't need him. Well, they got him, so deal with it. We saw someone. Right. We saw someone take on the king, and no one can see me, but I'm doing the air quotes, the king, LeBron James. We saw someone take it to him, and I saw LeBron for the first time be a little timid. How do I guard you? Can I guard you? Can I stop you? The answer was no. You couldn't do anything. That guy, the averages were amazing.
It was like 35 points per game in the finals.
I don't even think he scored under 30 that whole series. I think he went over 30 every time they played.
Yeah, he snatched LeBron Hart. I've never seen a player snatch LeBron Hart like that since the San Antonio. That's the only time I've seen any team snatch LeBron's Hart since the San Antonio Spurs. Right. Kevin Durant was like, bro, you can't guard me. You can't mess with me. You can't screw me. All right, bro.
Straight revenge.
All right, this mine.
Straight revenge. Straight revenge. He was all. That's all he was saying. I told him about that. He thinking about 2012. He was like I said before. When Harrison Barnes left, they just basically traded in a Prius for Marcialago. When Harrison Barnes left, and they went and got Kevin Durant. They basically traded in a Fiat for Marcialago, basically. That's what Kevin Durant was. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Way major improvement over Harrison. No disrespect to Harrison Barnes, because Harrison Barnes was a great player. You know, he was a solid player, but he's no Kevin Durant.
No.
He's no Kevin Durant by any means. So when he went there so when he went there, and, you know, people say, oh, he went there to ride coattails. Kevin Durant to ride the coattails. Kevin Durant became the man. Like I know he said that's Steph Curry's team. You know, Steph Curry's the face of the Warriors, but Kevin Durant was doing work that whole series. He was doing work. So,
he was a Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan. That's what he was. That's what I compared him to. He was Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen wasn't no scrub either, man. Okay, he's one of the greatest of all time. You just look at Scottie Pippen's. I mean, just look at his resume without Jordan and with Jordan. This guy did a lot of stuff with Jordan. And Jordan was one of those guys that he demanded the ball in the fourth quarter, and Scottie still got his numbers. Scottie still did his thing. Right. He still stood out, and that's why I see with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Those guys, they complement each other well, but Kevin Durant, this guy's playing his defense. He was leading the league in blocks last year for a long period of time. He was rebounding. Kevin Durant was on a mission, bro. He was on a mission, so I cannot say, you know, I'm not willing to say that that the Warriors can win without Steph, but if Kevin Durant takes on that, that persona that he had last year, they could easily win it all because Kevin Durant, man, he's one beat. He's that one beat with LeBron.
Right, that one team. He can be. And you got Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson can play. 9 times out of 10, he's gonna stick James Harden.
Right.
Like if they play in the series, he's gonna be the primary defender for James Harden. Chris Paul, if Steph doesn't come back, I'm sure they got somebody like Eagle Dollar, my homie Eagle. Shout out to Eagle Dollar.
Ooh,
right.
I know
you know
what I'm saying.
You got guys like that, and and the way that everybody said Steve Kerr has it easy. Steve Kerr can coach. Like I'm sure he's gonna have his guys ready. Mike D'Antoni is a great coach in his own right, and in Houston as well. I'm looking forward if they meet up in the Western Conference Finals, it's going to be a hell of a series. I think it'll probably go the whole 7 games. It's going to be, especially if Curry comes back, it's going to be one of those knockout, drag-out, heavyweight title fights, like Tyson and Holyfield. It's going to be great, man. So, I mean, I hope Steph comes back because, like I said, I was telling y'all earlier that that MCL sprains can be tricky to come back from. It could hold him for a week. It could hold him for a month. You know what I'm saying? So, I really want him to come back. To even the playing field. But, if he doesn't come back, you still got that guy, number 35, the alpha male, like I said, 1B behind LeBron. He's basically behind LeBron as far as being the best player in the NBA. So as long as you got that guy on your team, you always got a punch of chance. You know what I'm saying? So, and like you said, like I saw Mike, you said you made a comparison to Scottie Pippen. We all know that Scottie Pippen is probably one of the most underrated players in NBA history. Like, the dude did it all. And then when Michael Jordan left the first time, Scottie Pippen finished third in MVP vote. Like, he was putting up numbers. And the Bulls still won 55 games, got cheated out of that Eastern Conference Finals. They cheated in that game 6. So, I mean, Scottie Pippen in his own right was a hell of a player. So, I mean, you're right about that. That's who I compare them to, Scottie Pippen and MJ. Like, those guys complement each other. and then you got Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. So it's crazy, man. Like I said, I hope Steph does make a full recovery. It could be for rest because the NBA season's about to come to a close. So maybe it is just for rest, just get ready for the playoffs.
I would think so. But I would think so after the debacle that happened in Memphis with LeBron and pretty much the entire team resting. So I think this is a tactic for them to get them rest.
Speaking of LeBron, regardless of how you feel about him, regardless of what he does, taking the NBA by hostage, you got to realize this is this man's 15th year and he's still performing at a high level. Like, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. Like, he's still putting up numbers. At his 15 years, most times, when Kobe was playing his 15, 16 year, you could see him starting to wear it down a little bit. But with LeBron, the way he's been playing as of late, like, I don't understand. I mean, this dude must have, like, some juice or something. Like, the dude is playing like he's 25 again, like he's 22, 23 years old again. Like, maybe just the fact that he – go ahead.
I don't think he has a choice, to be honest. He really doesn't have a choice. He put that on themselves, especially what he created. Right. Let's not mistake ourselves. We debate about this all the time. The reason why we have all these super teams is because of him, and he has to go out. He has to go out. He can't. He cannot rest. He can't do anything. It's because this is what he created. But the guy, like you said, man, I don't know how he does it. The minutes that he plays at least 38, 40 minutes every freaking game. That's crazy.
Right. That's
crazy for a guy that's his age. Jordan didn't play, those heavy minutes. 15 years.
Right.
Since he was 18.
15 years, man. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, like you said, Father Time is undefeated. You see it in the NFL, you see it in the NBA. You see how players tend to slow down as they get older, unless you're Tom Brady. And Drew Brees, who's gonna play. Tom Brady talked about he's gonna play till he's 50 years old. Which if he does that, I would be amazed if he plays till 50. But to see how LeBron has been playing after all these years, after all the bumps, the bruises, the fouls, because the dude takes a beating because he plays hard. And to see how he's been performing as of late, throwing up triple doubles, 30, 40-point games, still being that peak player. He does get a lot of hate, which, like you said, he brings it on himself. But it just seems like every time it seems like when people just throw shots at him, he just rises to the occasion. Like, it's crazy how this man is performing. Like I said, I'm kind of being a low-key fan of his right now. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's crazy. 15 years in the game, not really been hurt a whole lot. So, I mean, a lot of players can't say that. I mean, look at Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose went from MVP to trying to find a job, I mean, he's doing this thing in Minnesota. He had a couple decent games the past couple games, but it could change in the blink of an eye, man.
His knees.
Right, right. Trying to find his job and his knees, But he did have 20 points the other night, so I think that's a career high for this Derrick Rose. I mean, he did have 20 points, so I think that's a career high for him. I mean, I don't even remember the last time Derrick Rose had 20 points. So. But yeah, the way LeBron's been playing, man, like you said, maybe it's just the fact that he brings it on himself with the moves and the decisions, and everybody wants to take him out, and he forms the super teams and stuff like that. But the man, regardless of all that, the man is still playing. That's why I say he's probably the best player in the league right now. And Kevin Durant's not that far behind either. So, but we have another dilemma going on with another team. The San Antonio Spurs, they have a dilemma going on. This whole Kawhi Leonard situation. I guess I was reading about how they had a players only meeting, and it was described as being very emotional. I guess the players were trying to convince Kawhi to come back, and Kawhi was saying, he has a reason to sit out. I mean, I don't know the man personally, and you can't know a person's body if they say they're not ready. They're not ready. We saw what happened when Kyrie tried to come back the first final when he had the knee problem, and then he got hurt and he was out for the rest of the finals. So, I mean, Kawhi knows his body. Kawhi knows his body. Kawhi knows his body. So, I mean, what do you guys think? You think he's just, and there are rumors that he's unhappy in San Antonio. You think that's playing a factor in it too? What you guys think?
Phil, you want to take it?
Okay. When I look at this instance, when I'm looking at this dilemma, so they say dilemma.
Right.
I'm so baffled because in my years of watching the game of basketball, and the San Antonio Spurs are the top tier when you talk about franchise players, franchises as a whole, and what they do, their culture there, and how Popovich is so respected. I am so baffled and confused when I say I don't have a response, really, as to why Kawhi's out. You hear reports that he's healthy, he can go, he can resume play, he can take contact, but then all of a sudden he doesn't want to play. Then you hear about this players only meeting. He says he's not comfortable with playing. Or no, for that matter, truthfully, we don't know what the matter is. Let's just be honest here. We truthfully do not know what the matter is. And that's what baffles me. You don't hear about a San Antonio team going through nothing like this. So it baffles me that you got to sit here and you got to wonder. Like, what's going on here? What does Pop not have control of his team like we thought he did?
And that's rare.
Going down?
That is very rare. You never heard a pop controlled team being in this, like you said, Phil, being in a situation where it seems like he doesn't have control.
I have never seen a Greg Popovich team in the shape that it's in right now. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The Western Conference is it's tough. So you can go from number 1 to number 7 very quickly.
Absolutely.
But I'm not even talking about standings really. I'm talking about being so perplexed. I don't know. Does Pop have control of the team? What's really going on? That's what's confusing me. And I've never had my doubts about a San Antonio coach team before under Popovich. But right now I am very baffled. I'm very confused as to why Kawhi Leonard is not on the court. Could it be true what some of the reports say? He wants out of San Antonio? Is that the case? We don't know. We don't know. And if he wants out, they're in so much trouble. They are in so much trouble.
That's right, and that's the thing about it. He just signed that $94 million extension, so trying to trade him or trying to outright release is going to cost them, and it's going to cost the team that wants to pick up his trade. Like, don't get me wrong, Kawhi Leonard's a hell of a player, but the fact that he signed a $94 million extension, exactly, he's a superstar. Finally got his offense game working. Training with Kobe Bryant over the summer. You can see it in some of his basketball offensive repertoire, how the guy shoots and stuff. He's exactly like Kobe Bryant. But the fact of the matter is, if San Antonio does decide to trade him, somebody's gonna have to pick up that $94 million. And considering the fact that a lot of these teams are trying to get these superstar players, because the big summer, next summer of 2019 is gonna be crazy because you got guys like LeBron. Not 2019. This summer, we got guys LeBron and Paul George going to be independent free agents, depending on what they're doing with their situations with their respective teams. Kawhi could be another player if they decide to trade him. He could be another one in the mix. So, I was talking with my brother Dex. Shout out to Dex. And Mike. I want to get your opinion on this. You're a Hawks fan as well. I was talking to Dex the other night. He suggested that maybe, wherever. Because the Hawks are going to get a lottery pick. He was thinking that maybe we should trade that pick and something else to San Antonio and bring Kawhi to Atlanta. What do you think about that?
First, I'm kind of lead into both with this answer, and I would say this. With San Antonio, I think, and we've seen this with every great team. When there is a power struggle with the coach and ownership, management, players don't want to be involved with that mess. This is what's happening. We've never seen the San Antonio Spurs argue, fight in the media players don't want to play for coach. Like, who the hell doesn't want to play for Popovich? Seriously, this guy is always always has a continued team. Always.
Oh yeah.
And look at the coaching.
Always.
Look at his coaching tree. Steve Kerr, Bud. I mean, so many guys. So many guys have been under Coach Popovich, and we've never had any player that totally came out and outright disrespect Popovich the way Kawhi has done. So maybe there is an internal struggle that these guys, management wants to prove, like, what's the guy name from Chicago? Chicago Bulls. Ryan Sturff, whatever his name is.
Ryan Sturff, that much.
Yeah, well, he wanted to prove that he's the reason why they built these championships. No, they won these championships. And they didn't want to give Bud his credit. They don't want to give Bud his credit. Maybe that's what's going on. They want to push Bud out the door. And, maybe they've gotten to Kawhi, and this is all just my opinion. Maybe they've gotten to Kawhi. We promised Kawhi all of this, and, when Kawhi doesn't want to be a part of it, and he wants out. If Bud is there, he wants out. Not Bud, but Popovich. If Popovich is there, maybe he wants out. And as far as, the Hawks, I mean, that's a trade that I would definitely be on. I definitely they potentially have 3, picks if Minnesota makes the playoffs. So that could very well be the case, especially if they, they're not sure if Kawhi wants to stay. That could easily be something the Hawks could, because they're searching for a superstar. And we know Kawhi is a superstar. He's one of the best two-way players in the league right now. So that would be huge for the Hawks, if they trade for Kawhi Leonard and have John Collins and maybe, Dennis Schroeder running the point. That's something that would be, that would be nasty, man.
Yeah, don't forget Prince, too. Prince is starting to bloom, too. He's starting to become a good player.
So,
now,
I'm
not an Atlanta guy when it comes to sports. But I'm going to chime in.
Oh, we know this, Phil.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. The Spurs will be damn dumb to wheel and deal with you all. What do y'all have to offer them other than a draft
Yes, they will.
I don't think they're in that much peril where they're going to do a deal with the Atlanta Hawks. I just don't see it. It will be wishful thinking for all the Atlanta fans out there, but let's be real. Let's be real. They're not in that much duress to go ahead and deal with the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to give up a stud, a superstar for nothing. There's no guarantee you get a top pick in that draft. There's no guarantee you find a diamond in the rough in that draft. I'm going to give up my superstar for a what if. I have got to be the dumbest GM. I've got to be the dumbest. I have got to be the dumbest. There's no excuse for me to want to deal with the Atlanta Hawks knowing they don't have too much to give me. That's just being honest. That's being honest.
I mean, well, like I said, like I told Mike, I mean, if we don't wheel and deal, that's cool, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, you know who I want to get, and I'm still waiting. I'm watching The Wire right now. I'm still waiting to see if Marvin Bagley is going to declare. So I mean, if we don't wheel and deal, for Kawhi, there's still a possibility we get that guy. And like I said, Mike knows.
Yeah.
Mike knows.
Oh,
I'd rather get him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. Kawhi Leonard's a hell of a player. But if like Phil said, the Spurs will be pretty dumb to wheel and deal to us. You know what I'm saying? So, with all that being said, if Marvin Bagley declares for the draft, I'm good. I just need the Hawks to stop winning games. That's what I need them to stop winning games.
Yeah,
stop winning games right now.
They pissing me off with this winning shit. For real. They pissing me off.
Right. I mean, come on, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I was talking to a couple people, and they was like, "Well, why are you so high on Bagley?" I mean, the guy, they compare Bagley to Kevin Durant. Like, the dude can play inside, he can play outside, a great rebounder. He's that superstar that Atlanta needs, potentially superstar. Mm-hmm. And put him on that front court with Collins and Prince. The Hawks will probably have a good young front court if they get him. Now. I know my BFF is listening, and she throws so much shade on us, on the Hawks. LaDonna Souls, she's trying to get Bagley to come to Dallas, so we always had the war words with her. But, yeah, so, I mean, if we don't get Kawhi, which is, hopeful, wishful thinking, I'm definitely on the Marvin Bagley to Atlanta train right now.
So I got a question. What if you don't get this guy?
Well, you know why? Well, then there's DeAndre Ayton, the guy, the center from Arizona. There is DeAndre Ayton. They compare him to Tim Duncan. He's got that, that post-up game. He's a good rebounder. I think he led the nation in double-doubles. He's got a good outside shot. There's Jaren Jackson from Michigan State. Basically he's the same player as Bagley. And then you got Trae Young, who is basically everybody's compared to Steph Curry. But my question is, if we do pick up Trae Young, what will happen with Dennis? Because you can't have 2 points unless you put Trae at the 2 guard, which probably won't work. So if the Hawks was to make that move, will we trade him? Will we wheel and deal? Maybe we could send to San Antonio with a pick to get Kawhi.
I'm gonna say something that's not gonna be very popular with the Atlanta fan base. But I'm gonna speak.
Of course not.
Okay. The problem with the Atlanta the organization of the Hawks, honestly, it's not as credible as it once was. And you're having a hard time getting superstars to sign superstars to come and play in Atlanta. It's the same thing with New York. It's the same thing with Brooklyn. You guys fall into that category as well. I don't know what the issue is, but no superstar, when free agency arrives, says, "Oh, I'm going to go to Atlanta." It doesn't happen.
Well,
the Dwight Howard thing went horribly wrong. It went horribly wrong.
Well,
and
yeah, but go ahead, Phil.
That's one of the problems that I'm seeing. No superstar wants to go there or has a desire to go there. And one thing that I do see, like I said, everybody wants to gang up and be one super team. That is an issue. That is a problem. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not a problem. But for one thing, you guys don't attract the big-name superstars. And in order for other players to want to come play for you, you have at least have to have a superstar that can actually provide and produce. And you don't have that. So even if you do get this guy in the draft, and I'm praying that he does not be a bust, I'm praying we don't have another Alonzo Ball out here. So I'm praying that he does produce for you all if you draft him, if you can get him. And I'm hoping that opens doors for other superstars. But right now, you guys can attract superstars. And I don't know what it is. I don't get it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say the reason why, and Mike can probably fill in on some things that I missed. But the whole reason why that Atlanta, the Hawks have such trouble attracting superstars, you gotta go all the way back to 1993. Yep. We had one of the most popular, one of the most best players in the NBA, not named Michael Jordan, and Dominique Wilkins. The Hawks were number one in the Eastern Conference. Number one in the Eastern Conference. Like, this is the same era with Michael Jordan playing with the Bulls. We were over them. We had a better record than the Bulls. In the middle of our season, the Hawks pulled probably one of the dumbest trades in, I'm not going to even say NBA history. They pulled one of the dumbest trades in all of sports when they sent our centerpiece, our star, to the Clippers for punk-ass Danny Manning.
Danny's fucking
You know what I'm saying? Like, I will never forgive the Hawks for that. Like, that is number 2 behind the whole Deion fiasco when Rankin Smith left his soul. But I want to kick his tombstone head when I see him, when he let Deion walk to San Francisco. That had to be the dumbest trade ever. And then Danny Manning, what did he do for us? Oh, he just averaged 2 points, basically was hurt all the time. And basically that changed the Hawks' fortunes for years. Like, they were terrible. Like, 13-69, terrible. So, I mean, that is why. That could be one of the reasons. Like, you see, you got somebody in the prime of your career. You got a superstar, a very popular player amongst Atlanta. Like, I think he was the most popular player. Then, even over Michael Vick. Like, everybody know Michael Vick. Everybody say Michael Vick is the black superhero of Atlanta. No, it was Dominique. Dominique was the black superhero of Atlanta. Let's get that clear out the way. So then also the whole Danny Ferry situation, that whole thing. The NBA. Let's just be honest here. The NBA is predominantly black players, and you saw what happened to Donald Sterling. That whole issue with Donald Sterling, where he was making these jokes and stuff like that, and he was talking about blacks. Danny Ferry basically fell in that same, not as extreme as Donald Sterling, but it was just as bad. I think he was critiquing, what's the guy's name? When Lou Aldane came to visit us.
Lou Aldane.
On his free agency, he came to visit us. And, Danny Ferry made all these comments. I'm not going to say it on the air, but he made some pretty questionable comments, critiques about Lou Aldane, and it got out to the media. So if you're a black NBA superstar, like a LeBron James, like a Dwayne Wade, like a Kevin Durant, and you hear these things, I wouldn't want to play for Atlanta either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you sit here critiquing me, not on my basketball skills, but how my nose look, how that I stand firm because I'm black and I got firm. It was crazy. So, and Mike can fill in on a couple things. I might have missed a couple things, but with that whole, that's why Danny Ferry is no longer our GM. But in the same breath, we got a guy from Golden State who's our GM now, who basically helped build the blueprint to get Golden State to where they are now.
Absolutely.
I see hope for this guy, and I'm pretty sure he's checked out Bagley, he's checked out Aiken, he's checked out all these guys I just named. I'm pretty sure he's looking for that superstar that Atlanta needs. So, I mean, Mike, you go ahead behind me because I might have missed a couple things, but that's pretty much why nobody really looks at Atlanta.
You're pretty much correct there. I think a lot has to do with the coach in Atlanta. Let's not forget that back in the 80s and 90s, it was predominantly a black culture, a black city, just everything. Granted that we had, the Bulldogs and the Braves, they were popular with a lot of Caucasians. And I do not want to seem like it's, the city's just split. But during that time, the black culture was attached to Deion Sanders. The black culture was attached to Deion Sanders and, to Dominique Wilkins. And you take away someone that is near and dear to a lot of African American fans. You take that away from us. And players today, they were kids then. They were kids then. So they remember this. Their fathers remember stuff like this. So as a player, you're like, has anything changed in Atlanta? Has it really changed in Atlanta? So superstars don't want to be a part of that. And you see it today. What Bud did to Dwight Howard, and Dwight Howard wasn't a fit with the offense, but they pretty much gave this guy $70 million and traded him the next year. I mean, players don't want to be a part of that. Players don't want to be a part of it. People pay attention. These players pay attention to stuff like this. So you cannot do things like this as an organization. You have to be loyal to your players first before you have to change the culture. You have to change the culture with the players before you decide you want to a superstar. Money is not going to buy it. People want loyalty as well.
That's true. So that's why I have to chime in now and say, well, let's say you do get this young gentleman, the stud from Duke. What keeps him there? If the culture and everything that, as you said, has not changed, and you see some of the things that's going on, and it doesn't look right, what is going to keep him there in Atlanta? Because we could be possibly looking at a one-and-done guy there. He's signed there, that he's been signed, and then he jets. And that's not what you need. That's the same thing all over again. You don't want
that's why I hope
you don't need that.
That's why I hope this new GM that we got, he's like I said, he came from Golden State. He basically helped. It was just like he basically got the blueprint to get, the Warriors to where they are, is being an elite contender. He's basically what Thomas Dimitrov was. Thomas Dimitrov was the Patriots guy. He helped the Patriots, with drafts and stuff like that. We pick him up with the Falcons, and he's basically doing the same thing in New England that he did. The same thing he's doing in Atlanta, where he did in New England. You know what I'm saying? He's basically doing the same way. So hopefully, this new GM that we got, and from what I hear from guys like Mike and Dexter and a lot of these Hawks fans, this guy's a real deal as far as being a general manager. So hopefully, if we get Bagley, if we get this guy, this GM can show him like, hey, Atlanta, because like I said, Atlanta's probably one of the biggest markets in sports. As far up there with New York and LA, teams like that. I think Atlanta's either number 7 or number 8 as far as markets for sports.
Absolutely.
Use that to your advantage to keep this guy. If he becomes, like I said, I think he has the potential to be that guy, a star that Atlanta needs. But at the same time, this and this general manager that we have now, he can use that to be like, hey, we're building something here. We want you to be a part of it. We got guys that can complement you, and Collins and Prince. We got Schroeder, who's probably on his way to being one of the elite point guards in the NBA. So, use that to convince him to stay if he comes. Some that those guys are still young, like Prince, Collins, and they're still young. And to add a piece like Bagley, you know what I'm saying, or even if Bagley doesn't get drafted, guys like Aiden Jackson, all those other guys, convince them to stay and build something up. Kind of like what the Lakers are doing with Ball, Ingram, Julius Randle, those guys. You see, those guys are winning now. They're young and they're finally starting to get it. That's what I hope with the Hawks. And another thing Mike brought up, the whole split in the whole split among the Atlanta fan bases. You can look at it now. If you go to Facebook, if you go to any message board, the split is evident. All you gotta do is just bring up Matt Ryan versus Michael Vick, and you will get your split right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean no disrespect, but throw your whole fan base in the garbage.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I have never in my life seen so much decisive, just indecisiveness. I've never seen a fan base go through the things that y'all go through. You're not one
man, look.
You can't get along for hell if you have a good thing.
The funny thing about it is, and Mike does it, I do it, Dexter does it. We argue more with Falcons fans. We argue more with Atlanta sports fans than any other fan base out there. We argue more with them. Like I'm like, dude. I'm like, why are you like everybody? I'm telling you right now, when Matt Ryan signs this contract, which he will, you gonna see. I'm trying to tell you, you gonna see Armageddon on Facebook, because they're gonna be people talking about, he don't deserve that money. And then I'm telling you, once Matt Ryan signs this contract, it's gonna be hell on Facebook.
Man, and I told you, once he signs that contract, he needs to produce a Super Bowl. He needs to produce a Super Bowl, a championship. That's what he needs to produce. You gotta look at it. Time is ticking. Time is ticking.
No, I disagree with you there, because I'm gonna say this, and you are a Patriots fan. Let's be honest. Tom Brady did not win those Super Bowls on his own. Okay,
of course
he wouldn't have never done.
Time,
Matt
you
Ryan
have a starting quarterback. You have got to at least get somebody of your caliber, of what everybody's saying?
That's I don't agree with. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that for the simple fact that a quarterback, Matt Ryan, has played well enough to win 2 Super Bowls. Even in the NFC Championship against San Francisco, Matt Ryan did not blow the game. The defense blew the game. Even the Super Bowl, Matt Ryan did not blow the game. It was the defense that could not stop Tom Brady. So I cannot completely understand why people always say a quarterback has to produce a Super Bowl. No, the team has to come together and work together like a New England to produce a championship. So never, ever put a win on a quarterback. Tom Brady does not win championships on his own. He is a terrific, great player. He comes back, he produces when the time calls every single time. But that defense, you would have never won that championship without Malcolm Butler getting that interception. You would have never won that championship if Vinatieri didn't hit those 2 field goals. So let's not put it all on one quarterback and one player. This is a team effort.
I will say this.
Never once that I'm putting it all on his shoulders. But come on now, as a starting quarterback, as everybody's saying how great you are, you have at least have got to get a Super Bowl championship under your belt if you want to keep, or if you would like for the Atlanta fan base to accept you, to at least want you to stay.
No, okay. Let me pause before you say anything. Yes, we want them to be accepted, but come on, Michael Vick didn't do that for us, and he was very accepted in Atlanta.
He didn't do a damn thing. He didn't do it.
But then three more points I want to make. Number one. As far as Super Bowl 51 is concerned. And Mike even showed the video on Twitter, which still hurt my heart because I had to watch that. When Matt Ryan made that catch to Julio Jones, when Julio Jones caught that ball, that should have been game. That should have been game right there. That was game.
Oh my God!
Now
that was an amazing throw and amazing catch.
Absolutely, and a hell of a catch. Now we all know this, and this is my knock on Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan can sometimes be a robot to where he will follow the play caller. Like I want it to be like Peyton Manning, because everybody knows Peyton Manning is the master of audibles at the line.
I will say that.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Peyton Manning will get one play, but then he sees the defense and he's got 3 more plays lined up. So however the defense is aligned, he's gonna call the appropriate play to run. I guess with Matt Ryan having so much faith in Shadufis, who I basically gonna drop kick on sight if I ever see him. The way that how everything was executed, it pissed me off to the T. And I wanted Matt Ryan, and I always said it before. Matt Ryan doesn't need to be elite. Matt Ryan just needs to be Matt Ryan and get some fucking nuts to say, hey, coach, this play is not working. I'm going to call this play. I mean, it just seems at times that Matt Ryan could be a robot, which I want him to be, especially him being in the league this long. Him being in the league this long, he needs to be like, hey, I see the defense is lining up this way. Let me call this play to counter that. It just seems like he'll just say, okay, I'm going to run this. Because think about it, Mike. You see it.
He's too much of a team player. He is too much of a team player. He needs some of that Tom Brady in him. You know why he's cussing out the offensive coordinator, where he's cussing out Bill Belichick on the sideline. Now that I can agree on. He does need to get off, all that positive crap, when it's time, because there was no better time for him to say, no, the hell with this shit. We on the 25-yard line. Julio just made the greatest catch of all time, one of the greatest catches of all time in the Super Bowl, and you don't scream and yell at the offensive coordinator for calling some bullshit like that. I mean, no. I have to agree with you there.
That's what I'm saying. Think about it. What happened was, I think about it, Mike, you see it, I see it. Whenever the Falcons run the no-huddle offense, Matt Ryan's at his best.
Oh, my God.
Always. He always is. When Matt Ryan, and that was the thing, I kept screaming at the whole season, like, why don't y'all just run the no-huddle offense? Because when Matt Ryan runs the no-huddle offense, he's basically, at his best. And I get it. I get what Phil's saying, and I also agree with Phil. Yes, the quarterback needs, account for wins or losses.
Yes, he
because
does.
whenever
Yes, he
a
does.
win and loss, whenever a team loses or wins, the credit goes where? To the quarterback. So, you know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, it's a team effort. It's always a team effort. But you also got to look at the coach. And Dan Quinn, who I think is doing a great job for us. He should have checked Shanahan at the door, but like, nah, we're not running that. If I was a coach and Julio made a play like that, I'd be like, we're gonna run the ball. I don't care if we lose yards. We're gonna run the ball because we got a kicker back there that can kick the ball from 60, 65 yards.
He's done it. He hit a 62-yarder, so I really don't understand what he was saying.
So I'm
I don't understand.
So I'm sitting there like, oh, so you just go, okay, you run the ball one time and now you're going to pass? I'm like, come on, why are you passing the ball? You're within this man's field goal range. So, and then like I said, everybody throws around this, quarterbacks, are defined by Super Bowl rings. I disagree because I always said Dan Marino's the greatest quarterback of all time. He never won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And then you got guys like Trent Dilfer or Brad Johnson who absolutely sucked as quarterbacks, got Super Bowl rings. So, I mean, like I said, to each his own. But like I said, Matt Ryan, to me, is probably quarterback in Falcons history that we've had. Everybody say, Michael Vick brought excitement to the Falcons. No, Michael Vick brought that, and he brought the fact that he couldn't do it on his own. Matt Ryan couldn't do it on his own. Tom Brady can't. No quarterback can do it on his own. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it all depends on what people say, what their opinion is as far as the quarterback is concerned. But like I said before, once Matt Ryan signs his contract, it's going to be hell on Facebook. Trust me.
Oh, man, it's going to be
in their feelings about that.
It's going to get nasty. It's going to get nasty, man. It really is going to get nasty. And I'm so embarrassed sometimes to say that I am a Falcons fan. But at the same time, I have so much freaking pride and love for my team. But we have a stupid, ridiculous, dumb-ass fan base. I mean, the Cleveland Browns didn't win a single fucking game, and their fans are still loyal to them. They haven't had a quarterback in God knows how many years, and they support their quarterback 100%. But our fan base, one of the greatest, probably the greatest quarterback in franchise history, and one of the, he could go down as possibly one of the best statistical quarterbacks of all time, and he gets absolutely no love here. It's sickening.
Because like I told you, like I said, man, the divide is real, man. The divide is real. The Matt Ryan, Michael Vick conversation will rage on for years. Even if Matt Ryan wins the Super Bowl, that will not quell the Michael Vick fans in Atlanta. Trust me on this one. If Matt Ryan wins the Super Bowl, it will not quell the Michael Vick fans because they'll still be like, oh, they will make any kind of excuse for this guy. Any excuse. And don't get me wrong, I like Michael Vick. I mean, Michael Vick was cool until you said that BS about wanting to play in Philadelphia over Atlanta. I was like, well, then keep your ass in Philadelphia then.
But my thing was, can you blame them? Look at your fan base. Look at what your fan base does. Can you blame a guy for not wanting to come back there?
I agree with Phil. Like I said, me and Mike don't have any. We agree. We fully agree with this. Like our fan base is not the greatest. Like I said, you got guys like me, Mike, Dexter, the Thornton twins. DeMario, Eric. You got a few diehards that will rep our squad to the death. So, if they want to be crazy, let them be crazy. But I just get the few ones that I just named, and we'll just ride for our team. So, but we got less than a minute here, fellas. Man, it's been good, man. It's been a very spirited conversation, man. So, y'all got any parting words before we get off the air?
I'm just mad as hell Duke lost. That's all. My Duke.
Hey, but the good news is that Bagley. Go ahead, Phil.
He's mad about Duke. I couldn't be more ecstatic that they lost.
Hey man,
when
look, the only thing
I jumped and clicked my heels together. Let's be real. I do not.
Hey, man, whatever.
I don't need Mike winning another title. I'm sorry, I just can't have any.
Hey, only thing I'm happy about that Duke losing is that the fact I'm still waiting on Bagley to declare. Once he declares, you know I'm be talking about it. But all right, then, fellas.